Hi, beautiful people. I'm sitting at my desk with my Charlie, who is relentless here. I never can give him enough attention. So here we are jumping into a joyful June. Sometimes here in my area, we call this June gloom because at the coast, we tend to get a lot of cloud cover just right at the coast, and then you drive inland just a bit, and then there's the sunshine. I think it's a lovely example of, the sun is always shining. It's just sometimes we can't see or feel that it is. On my shares about my continued work that I'm doing, my inner work, here was a really fun little thing that just happened. I've been thinking, so most of you know that I am like a little bit of I do like my wine. And I had been thinking, oh, I want to have a little wine refrigerator down in my casita at Rancho La Puerta because it gets so warm down there. And I just need a little one, nothing big and fancy. And so I've been looking around my favorite place, which is Facebook Marketplace. And I was looking, let's see what night, it was on Wednesday evening. And then when I came into town and I drove to the studio where I have my equipment to work with clients, there in the alley was a wine refrigerator with a big free sign on it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, look. And it's a really nice one. The note on it said, might need a new thermostat, but I brought it home and it works fine. And it was free. So as I would stop in the alley, I thought it was way too heavy and awkward for me to get in the back of my car. And in about 30 seconds, a young guy was driving down the alley and I waved and I said, do you think you could help me get this free fridge in my truck? He's like, sure. So we got in the back of my car and that's how I got it home. So how fun is that? I was just really kind of stoked that that little breadcrumb of manifestation happened pretty easily. I also want to share because I know in some of the pipelines, some of you have seen our things to get done and how we get overwhelmed when our to-do list is so long and we have to eat the frog. I don't know if some of you remember that, but eating the frog is doing your most difficult task or the one you've been putting off first. And I wanted to read this great quote that I came across, which I really, really like. And it's actually around speaking to people sometimes when you might just have to have that uncomfortable conversation, but you need to be truthful, because there's no other way to be. Anyway, as friendships grow closer, conflict becomes more difficult to avoid. And this is often a good thing because the closer we get to each other's hearts, the more triggers rise into view. Or sometimes we're even unaware we're being triggered, but we're feeling this sensation of unrest. And I've talked about that with my Joe Dispenza work. Because you can't fully know someone until you ignite each other's fire. And that isn't the fire of passion. This is the fire of because you won't know if a connection has legs until it has been tested by conflict. And when it is, there is a choice to be made. Walk away in disgust or walk toward it in an effort to deepen the connection. Conflict isn't the adversary of connection. Fear of the confrontation is. And I would, take your definition of those words, conflict, adversary, the word disgust, how he uses it here. When we aren't on the same wavelength or vibe as one another, it doesn't mean they're the enemy, and it doesn't mean they're weird, you're weird. It's just what it is. And can you look through with the eyes of your heart? And if that connection means anything to you, then you talk about it. it's kind of like my current housemate, who's a lovely, lovely person. However, there are some things I have to talk to them about because maybe I like things a bit more tidy. And I know because when we have sat down together and talked about things, they're very, very accommodating. Go, you know, this is not, you're not asking anything above and beyond, like you're crazy anally, retentively OCD, you know, compulsively, you're so obsessed to be compulsively clean. It's not that, it's just common courtesy for living as an adult with another adult, you know? The other beautiful quote I want to leave you with today also, I love this. I love this, love this, love this. I actually think you might want to consider writing this down and putting it up somewhere where you see it. The whole time you thought you weren't good enough, you were overqualified. The whole time you thought you weren't good enough, you were overqualified. Aw, you know, all of us need to shine our light big in the world. Our world definitely needs a lot of light, right, Mr. Charlie? So, yep, he agrees. On that note, you all have a joyful, joyful June. I'd love to hear from you about anything I share. You know, sometimes you might not agree. We're not in conflict. No, we're not. Lots of love to you all.